Hi guys, and welcome to this episode of Siapa, Makan, Cili with me, your host Iqbal, and today we have two guests with us. This is the first time we're doing an episode with two guests. Kan?
Yes. Oh, yes. Yes. Oh, and the first time we're holding the mics.
And the first time we're holding the mics, first time
I
with
was
two
so
guests.
chill.
So there's a lot of first times going on today. And with us today, to my left is Dr. O. Isan, researcher with KRI. Can we say that? Who would you like us to associate?
You got a
Well,
few things
I-
on your
Yeah.
thing, right? So
Well, I
you're a
have-
senior fellow at the Singapore Institute of International Affairs. You're the chairman of KKIP Aerospace. And you're also the principal advisor for Pacific Research Center of Malaysia and also KI. So which one would you want to?
Well, let's do the principal advisor,
Okay.
Pacific Research Center. Yeah,
Okay, Pacific Research Center.
And you're a Sabahan as well.
I'm a Sabahan as well.
Right.
Yeah.
And to his left is none other than Geoffrey Tang.
Who is the president of ROSE, which is the Rise of Social Efforts in Sarawak,
Hello.
and also the executive director of Lawyer Kamek.
Yeah, both are NGO based in Sarawak.
Right. And what do they focus on? Rise of Social Efforts and Lawyer Kamek?
Rise of Social Efforts basically we are the only Sarawak NGO that focus on electoral reforms and
Right.
election stuff. Lawyer Kame is basically more on human rights in general.
Okay.
And to my understanding, Rose has been around for at least around
10
a decade,
years,
but
a decade, yeah.
yeah, you guys.
But we only officially registered as an NGO only a couple
How
of
long
years.
has Lawyer Kamek been around for?
About more or less the same.
Okay, there we go.
So, for those who don't know, Isan has been commenting on Chili Sauce articles for a very, very long time. And you've been commenting on a lot of places. So we've seen you on the CNA, we've seen you on Malaysia Kini, FMT got a few as well.
So pointnya, kalau you nak jadi a podcast guest, you kena just rajin comment on all our content.
Yeah. So how did you get into this whole thing? Like, being that de facto person that people go into, seemingly for regional issues, for China issues, for Spratly Island issues.
Well, I started my career many, many years ago, about let's say 2.5 decades ago, with the United Nations. So this comes very naturally to me. I mean, sort of paying attention to what's going on in the region, as well as, for example, what's happening between the United States and China, and how would that affect us in this part of the world. So I always had a passion for these
Why?
issues.
Where did that passion come from? Do you talk?
Well, I think when I was very young, my parents, they were reading a lot. I wouldn't say adult magazines, but I mean, not adult in a sexual sense, but adult in terms of
Like grown-up topics.
Yeah, grown-up topics.
Okay.
So since a very young age,
clarify.
yeah. So since a very young age, I pay a lot of attention to what's going on in the Middle East, between Israel, Syria, and Lebanon. At that time, I still remember I was very young. So so that sort of developed my effort. Later on in university, I studied international law and so on. So
Okay.
that sort of ushered me into this whole field of international affairs.
It's quite fascinating, right? Like
Yeah.
how the various countries play off each other and how every government changes brings about a different dynamic.
Oh yeah, and sometimes it has some consequences for what's going on domestically as well.
Yeah,
You know?
yeah.
Yeah, and that's it. Today's focus will be very domestic, but
Yeah.
on the other side of the pond still.
Yes. So we did ask a lot of you guys about questions about East Malaysian politics, and I think it seems like you guys have a very fundamental understanding of it, and the rest of it is kind of a mystery, actually. So today we hope to take a little bit of a primer, just to kind of introduce how different East Malaysian politics are compared to West Malaysian politics, right?
And that's why we have someone from Sabah and someone from Sarawak.
Yeah, and speaking of Sarawak, so Jeff, you had an article, and this I think was the seed that started this whole idea for the podcast, right?
Mhm.
Where you've been talking about redelineation exercises for the upcoming Sarawak state elections, and how no one is talking about this.
Sebelum you even get into that, apa redelineation?
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you for the opportunity. Actually, I think the secara am lah, secara am I will speak in bahasa. Delineation ataupun persepadanan semula.
Yeah.
Boleh diadakan setiap 8 tahun. Boleh dilukis semula selepas 8 tahun. So every 8 years and above. There's no maximum, but minimum 8 years. So Malaysia in general dibahagi kepada 3 blok lah. Blok Semenanjung, Malaya, blok Sabah dengan blok Sarawak. So Sarawak sudah due in August 2023. So they have the rights to withdraw to what do you call that, to redraw the whole thing. And only recently on the 7th of July, suddenly our premier called up for special sitting, Dun sitting, to increase the number of seats, to propose to increase from 82, which is already the highest in the whole Malaysia, to 99. That is like near to 100.
Siapa nombor 2?
Selangor, I think.
Okay.
6.
And that's
Wah, jauh.
82 to 99 seats.
Sorry, Sabah 73.
Yeah.
Sabah 70. Sorry.
Okay, Sabah.
And so dia nak naikkan the number of seats in Dun Sarawak from 82 to 99. What does that mean for per seats? Is that
Ya,
will
paling
that make
kecil lah.
will that make
Kan.
Sarawak the most like overrepresented?
Yeah, that's from NGO perspective point of view. Because Sarawak kita cuma ada slightly over 2 million voters, registered voters, as of May 2025. So this is very recent numbers by SPR. And if based on 82, the number average voters per Dun is only 25,000. So if they increase to 99,
It'll be like
the
less than
number
20,000.
reduce like 20,000.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
So meaning to say every 20,000 we will elect one Adun. One
Versus,
representative.
do we know what the number is for Semenanjung or any other state?
20,000 satu Coldplay concert pun boleh kau.
Yeah,
Satu Coldplay.
yeah.
So the main thing for us is we see from few angles lah.
Okay.
Number one is the amount of money involved, because Adun need to pay monthly allowance. They have their their assistants. Also, if they are the government of the day, they are part of the government of the day, they will be given RTP allocation. They will be given MRP allocation. So there is a huge number of amount of money allocated for all Aduns. Second thing is in Sarawak, Dun cuma bersidang 2 kali setahun. Sekali 8 hari.
Again, how does that compare dengan
I
negeri-negeri
think
lain?
Selangor is about 5 to 6 times a year.
I'm not too sure. Maybe
Sabah, do you know like how many times a year they bersidang?
I think it's approximately the same.
Okay.
5 times a year.
Because
4 times a year.
state assembly typically don't sit a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Or even our parliaments, it's only
Parliament for
recent-
3 or 4 times a year.
in
Yeah.
recent years, I think starting the Najib years,
Yeah.
they sit more frequently, and now it's quite frequent. Yeah.
so. If you look at the number of sitting, 8 days. The first day gone by official opening. So literally, kita cuma tinggal 7 hari. So 7 hari, the number of questions we have 82 Adun previously.
Yep.
Each Adun supposed to submit 10 question plus 5 question. That already unfulfilled. So a lot of the time they don't get answered. So not like Parliament. If unanswered, they will give jawapan bertulis.
Yep.
Tapi in Sarawak, no answer equal back to the question go to rubbish bin.
Dan juga sebagai wakil for my MP kan, I need to ask like what is the attendance for?
Attendance. Okay, good question. Because in the attendance, that's why we try to produce some of our infographics in terms of attendance of the Adun. Not that great.
50%?
Slightly higher lah.
Okay, at least lah.
But then again, as long as they attended 5 seconds, is also considered.
Yes,
Like as in they tunjuk muka je for like a few ni.
Yeah.
Just like Parliament, I think
It's an open secret that some members of parliament, They go and sign their names, and then they
It's
get
the allowance.
they
Yeah.
They got their 400 ringgit.
Yeah,
already.
we know about this as well. Yeah, it's quite a common thing. So in Sabah, is it any better? And are you guys also redelineating this time around, or there's no?
I don't think so. I think it's still 73 seats, at least for this round of election, and then I don't know about for the future. So yeah, you don't see Adun, I mean the state assembly, sitting very frequently or for very extended period of time. But as I said, that's usually for all state assemblies in Malaysia.
But correct me if I'm wrong, Isan. Are we right to expect the Sabah election to happen relatively soon?
Oh yeah, because
Malaysia Day, right? That's
you
the
have to the state assembly will automatically dissolve, I think, by the end of the year, early December, if I remember correctly.
Okay.
Yeah.
If I'm
Okay.
correct.
Yeah.
But they can dissolve it as soon as like next month, even, right?
Yeah.
Because I saw like Malaysia Day was the day that everyone is betting on right now.
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then meaning once it's dissolved, it will be a month after that will be the elections.
Well, I think you have 60 days to
Okay.
go for the election, right?
Okay.
Hey, Chop, guys, I just want to stay on the seats for a while. So I read up that at least in Sarawak, the growth in the seats is a precursor to what MA63 is asking for, which is, more representation in Parliament. Is that the correct assumption?
No. Okay. It shouldn't be seen that way.
Okay.
Okay. MS63 is a perception and narrative played by elites, urbanites. I would say it that way.
Wow.
And okay.
Wait. You're saying that the average person doesn't care about MA63 in Sabah or
Commoners in Sarawak, they don't really talk about it.
And then when you say urbanites, do you mean like folks living in Kuching, or do you mean
urban.
or in Bangsa?
like
urban in
So-
Sarawak lah. No.
okay.
Sibu, Miri, some Kuching. So these are the game of those urbanites.
Can you explain that? Like what's in it for them?
That's why I say, if you are talking about delineation, MS63 shouldn't be seen as it's a two different thing. It's like
Okay.
Kolomi plus I'm using Sarawak example. Kolomi with Laksa. It's totally two different things.
Okay.
Yeah, so we shouldn't be seeing delineation and number of seats. It shouldn't be jailed together. So this is a misconception by a lot of
Okay.
people. MS63 is MS63.
So why are they doing it?
Sorry?
Why are they adding another 15 or 20 seats? Why? What's the point?
The only reason that they should come up with is after AVR in 2021, our number of electorates shoot up from 1.2 million to 2 million currently. So we see a number of especially the urbanites have a lot of number of electorates increase.
Okay.
For example, our premier, Sarawak premier, Gedong, he moved from his safe seat from Satok to Gedong from 6,000 over electorates, number of voters, to 10,000. So meaning to say, he only need to win 10,000. His constituency only have 10,000.
Yep.
So if he wins the 10,000 or maybe 5,000, he wins the seat.
Yep.
Versus the current, the highest in Sarawak right now is Senadin.
Okay.
Senadin is not really that urban, but then again, due to migration, because because if you know how SPR segment the thing, after every parliament there will be Dun. Every Dun there will be daerah mengundi DMs. So after DMs they will have locality. Under Senadin parliament Dun, there's a DM called Kuala Baram. That DM alone is about 50 over 1,000 voters.
Yep.
This is like 5 times Gedong punya.
This is malapportionment. This is malapportionment, right?
So basically, this is something that SPR, because now increase of number of seats is prerogative of Dun, but redrawing is the responsibility of SPR. So we have to see from two different angles.
How does this work? So the Dun can tell the SPR to say, I want more seats, and then the SPR will say, okay, let me draw it for you.
Yes,
Oh.
in a way, you are right, because we need to say
Also, the
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So
So it's requested. So Parliament is requested by the House or the
Parliament say we want 300 seats.
right.
SPR go and drop the 300
Yes.
seats.
So like in Sarawak case right now, Sarawak Dun have passed and gazetted only a week after. It was built table on the 7th. Gazettement is on the 15th. It's like super very fast.
Yeah.
So but based on 2015 delineation, the period is like a month later, at least, still fast. But this round is super fast. So we suspect they want to expedite the whole thing.
Sorry, I'm still not clear as to like why adding these seats. Does it make it easier to win or what?
Can I say that?
Boleh je. Like, I mean,
I ask a question, then get an answer lah. Yeah lah.
yeah, to your knowledge.
And Isan, please feel free to contribute here as well. Like, what is the reason to add these more seats?
No, mostly, sorry, maybe I go first. Most of the political party, they want to, in a way, reward their members. Meaning to say, you patronage me a lot.
Okay.
You help me a lot.
Okay.
I reward you by putting you to become the councillor in the local government. I'll appoint you. Then if you want higher responsibility, maybe I can put you to be the candidate in the respective Dun. If you win, then you become Yang Berhormat. So that's why now in Sarawak, if we increase to 99, which is already passed, that is something that we cannot reverse back.
Okay.
We will have 99 Yang Berhormat Adun di Sarawak sahaja.
Okay.
Out of 600 though.
And that's
Kalau
15.
batu boleh like
Kit,
kena
just like-
YB lah.
And so that's
Just like we
15 extra seats to reward
17.
people with, or 17 extra
Yeah.
seats to reward people with. Okay.
Do you concur with that?
Yeah, it's because in Sarawak, the ruling coalition, it's always assured of its winning, right? I mean, you wouldn't have sort of so-called a freak result, namely the opposition could win and so on. And because of that, then it would appear that the only justification of doing so is to, well, create more seats so that you have more
Jadi, okay, so there's not really an opposition in Sarawak. But whatever opposition yang wujud, what's the sentiment towards this?
We actually have, of course, our number of political
Parties.
in Sarawak is not as high as Sabah lah. I think Sabah have over 20.
I lost count.
Sarawak used to have to be 16. After PSB, there's a party called PSB, or absorbed into PDP. Then now we only left with 15. So besides the 4 in the GPS government, we and also the 3 from the national, like under Pakatan Harapan.
Yep.
The rest think that they can contribute or they can contest. They only sadly to say, they're active only during election time.
That's pretty typical, I would assume.
Yeah, of
Politicians.
Of all the political party.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the main thing is one point that I need to get the audience to understand about the delineation is that we do not, since the number of increase is already not reversible, but then again we just want or hope SPR when do the drawing, they will draw according to the 13th schedule. That is the main principle according to our constitution, 13th schedule. 2A, there are four areas, 2A, 2B, 2C, 2D. So we hope that uphold the values of 1 person, 1 vote, 1 value.
Okay.
That is something that you don't gel your face.
1 person, 1 vote, 1 value. How is that not?
It, in the sense of like a malapportionment and the gerrymandering.
Meaning to say, like for example, Kuching, because now in Sarawak we have, and also the others, a lot of urban migration have happened.
Yeah.
People from rural move to urban. So that's why if you see the numbers of new area or new housing area, you will see a lot of people migrate and buy houses there. So for example, in Samarahan, in Tupong, in for example, Miri have the highest parliament. We have more than 150,000 voters. Senadin, as I mentioned, 70 over 1,000. Mainly are due to migration from the indigenous people from Baram. from what do you call that, from Telang Usan, from Marudi, they all moved to the city.
Okay.
So are we seeing, generation gap in future? Are we seeing more people moving to town?
But that's just urbanization, right? I mean, that happens
Urbanization.
everywhere.
But then again, if SPI is doing the delineation, should they consider that, uphold the constitution, let more seats concentrated on urban,
Where people are moving to.
where the
Yeah.
people are moving and staying, rather than growing rural areas.
Right. So
Of course, you will see Sarawakian political members. They will say, "Oh, urban is hard to reach. Urban are geographically shouldn't be the is one of the considerations."
so, I mean, in Sabah and Sarawak, there's a unique difference because there's so many different cultures and races, and so they need representation, right?
Yes.
In each of their own areas as well. So it kind of does make sense for them to have more seats than say Selangor, where everyone's Malay, Chinese, Indian, and
Nah, I don't know. I would disagree with that. I would not know.
That I don't think it's one of the that I don't think it's one of the criteria
you don't
within
think so?
the Constitution. I mean, we may like to have that, but it's not one of the overriding prerogative in constitutional considerations. I think in the Constitution, the main consideration indeed it's that to the extent possible, you have more or less the same amount of people with the same amount of representatives, and so irregardless of all this, like race, religion, and so on. But of course, it's nice to have such. You see, for example, our friend Bong Mokhtar, a very colorful figure, certainly. His constituency, Parliament, Kinabatangan,
Yep.
is larger than the state of Pahang in land size.
I didn't know that.
So sometimes, you because it's very sparsely populated, right? You need to rob in a lot of people in very remote areas.
Yeah.
Therefore, it's a size of Pahang. Yeah.
Same goes to Hulu Rajang. Is also a size of Pahang.
Okay, so if you guys don't think that cultural representation is important in terms of the democracy, what about landmass?
Sorry, culture is important for me. Is important, but then again, it's not the sole
Drivers,
yes.
landmass.
Yeah, is that because presuming that an Adun needs to meet their constituents every once in a while?
I mean, practically how to run an election in places like this where there's no internet connection and
That's why there's no standard answer, because if you refer to again to the 13th schedule, the approximately in the constitution is only they will only write approximately equal values.
Okay.
So what is approximately? That's why we NGO we come up with a plus 15 minus 35, 33%. Meaning to say, urban setting we may focus smaller area, but because due to their concentration of people, so we have
is this a
smaller scale.
Is this a global standard, the plus 50?
No, it's up to SPR to set the standard. Actually.
Okay.
So we actually also demand SPR to set a standard that acceptable by everyone. So let them set the narrative, let them set the standard. So it applies not only to Sarawak or maybe to Sabah and also to Semenanjung.
Okay, sorry, I wanted to go back to something that you would talk very briefly just now that really, really interested me, which is the average person in Sarawak doesn't care about MA63. Okay, and it's an elite thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
Is it the same in Sabah as well? Oh,
Loaded.
this.
So that is just that. Well, I'm a bit cynical about all these MA63 efforts, and I will give you my reason because even if Sabah or maybe Sarawak were to get back whatever, basically it's money whatever money they are due under MA63 and so on, it's not going to go to the average people's pockets.
Yeah, right.
It's just going to go into the elite's pockets, right? So let me be very blunt about this. It's whether the money is going to go to Malayan elites or Sabah and Sarawakian elites, right? I would argue with you the Malayan elites, in terms of development and so on, they are more far-sighted, and so rather than well, in your case of Sarawak, perhaps not the last 10 years, but the 30 years before the 10 years, you have seen how a lot of money go into people's pockets.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
yeah.
White Raja.
So, I mean, why should the MA63 money, if reverted to Sabah and Sarawak, not go into these elites' pockets? Why would it go into the people's pockets? I contend that it's not going to happen.
Okay, but does the average person have the same opinion, is my question.
No, because the average person has been conned by all these sentiments, politicians saying, those politicians who champion all these rights, they are not the cleanest ones, right? I mean, come on. I mean, they've been around for how many years, right? So why would you trust them? It simply defies my logic.
Shall we go to audience questions?
Huh? I don't know. I feel like this is such an interesting thing.
This is
Like when you typically ask the average person on the street, like, are they passionate about
They know
MA63?
about what is the content.
Yeah. Are they passionate about getting the same rights, the same kind of allocations?
Maybe I'll just give you a very brief. We reverse back to 19 before.
A fast one.
A very fast one. Okay. In there's some documents. We have Kobo Commission.
Yeah.
There's a research done. Then after that we have IGC report.
Okay.
Then only we have MA63, Malaysian Agreement 1963.
Okay.
Then only we have Malaysian Act. Then barulah kita ada Malaysia,
Okay.
Gabungan Malaysia. So meaning to say, what are the contents? How many people have read it? How many people know what is the content? And MA63 is an agreement, and legitimacy is only for 7 years.
Oh.
So after 7 years, you need to say from 1963 to 1970, if Sabah MP and Sarawak MP do not fight our rights in Parliament, they are now only had the negotiation using their kingmaker status to negotiate. And then, like what Toto always said, it still go back to the pocket of the elites. Nothing more than that. The commoners like me are not going to benefit anything. That's my view.
People have fantasy, you see. When you're very poor, when you're desperate, when you're destitute, you have fantasy. If the 40% were to come back to Sabah, if only I have rights under this, MA63 and so on, maybe there's going to be at least some dribblings of money into my pockets, right? They have that fantasy. I'm here to tell you it's not going to happen. The money may come back,
but politicians sell it very, very...
Yeah, because they are the one who will benefit now.
Right.
But okay, so and then on that note, is there a possibility where that does happen? Where people will fight for that, where Sarawak gets its own gets a bigger representation, and its people get what they're owed. Is it entirely impossible?
No, basically, I think like the question is like, will trickle down economics happen? Even if it's the elites or whatever, I'm sure some of it will.
Trickle down economics has been happening in Sabah and Sarawak.
Yeah.
The only problem is, again, this kind of dripping, this kind of trickling down. There's very little of it. It's only a little bit of breadcrumbs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Flex.
Yeah.
Stalactite.
Yeah. Was that your question?
I guess I just because
Because highways, infrastructure, all these will cause jobs, right? And then it will generate jobs, and jobs will bring prosperity to some extent,
I don't know.
Sarawak?
Sabah.
Well, Sarawak is lucky because there was this dam, this bakun, and so on. So they generate a lot of electricity and they sell the electricity. And then the oil and gas, now that the oil and gas, some part of the money goes back to Sarawak, right?
Okay.
I'm not sure about Sabah, but Sarawak certainly. Hopefully can do some good in Sarawak. Let's be positive. Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on. I think one of the things that we got a sense of from our audience, we got a lot of questions from our audience, is that they have no idea about the kind of dynamics that happen in Sabah and Sarawak. Now, first of all, right, I apologize for grouping Sabah and Sarawak together, because this is a common thing that we are guilty of all the time. I have mixed it up before as well. But what are the key differences between Sabah politics, Sarawak politics, and West Malaysia?
What is the capital of Sabah?
What is the capital?
KK capital.
KK. Yeah, why?
A lot of people say KK Sarawak. Oh, okay.
Not
That's-
not that bad because I'm a diver, so I know. Yeah. No, but okay, yeah. So what are the fundamental, like you want to explain to someone, right, coming from West Malaysia, how things are different here? How would you do it?
Well, politically, of course, between Sarawak and the federal or Malaya, there's a sort of grand bargain, right? You leave me alone, from time to time I make some noise and you give me a bit more and so on. And then I deliver you the seats, the amount of seats that is required for you to form a government at the federal level. That changed a little bit, not a lot, but a little bit in 2018, right? Because sometimes Sarawak may give their seats to, now to Anwar Ibrahim, but previously to PAS and Bersatu, right? So they could do so. Sabah is slightly more complicated because, the parties will each win a few seats. So fine, I may deliver my seats to you, but it's only 3 seats or few seats, right?
So
As
no one
opposed
is-
to Sarawak's 20, 25 seats.
Right.
And therefore, Sabah does not have as big a bargaining power as Sarawak. lah.
That's interesting.
That's why Sarawak can bargain more because we are more powerful in that way.
Yeah, I don't know what kind of price you pay for that kind of powerfulness at the popular level. lah. I can only hope that the people of Sarawak are really living a very good life and very happily and so on. I hope so.
Okay, so if you were to explain it to a West Malaysian how Sarawak politics are different from West Malaysia, how would you do it?
Wow. Sarawak, I don't know how to answer this directly, but then again, Sarawak government or political party always portray that we are very united, where we are very diverse, and then we are very united. And but that is one part of it. But then again, hard to explain.
Okay.
I guess based on just our perception of, let's say, living in Selangor as Selangor residents, to the extent that we see the government, it usually tends to be when they're doing something that we hate. What the fuck are you doing? Contohnya, the highway thing.
Okay, yeah.
That's the only instances where tiba-tiba.
Yeah, the dams.
Tak, in the Selangor instance, the TTDI highway apa benda tu?
I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah.
But
But-
Suk, no, Suk. I can't remember.
Whatever the highway is, it seems to, in my perception, I only ever care about my state government bila diorang tengah buat benda yang tak patut. Is that the case in Sarawak? Like, do people care about apa tengah berlaku kat kerajaan negeri punya level?
I think after 2016, when the late Tok Nan took over the chief minister at that time, he declared Sarawak Day as one of the official public holiday, a state holiday. And then the narrative Sarawak for Sarawakian get growing, the sentiment growing stronger. So everything they are now, whenever they do something, they will say, this is for Sarawak, this is for Sarawak, by Sarawak, for Sarawak.
Okay.
And so they are very proud. We have our premier who is doing something that is very positive. We have our commercial banking. We have our own airlines, which is up lately. But then again, from NGO perspective, we are very concerned about where the money comes from, who are the contractors for all the projects. So this is something that we think that the transparency is still very lacking. Not to say the accountability part lah.
Same here lah.
Yeah. Then macam lebih kurang je, sama je, then tak adalah beza sangat.
Because we do in Sarawak, we do have too strong government.
Okay.
So we are hoping that we should have some strong opposition, become the eyes and ears, for the rakyat.
Yep.
So we should have these opposition voices.
Okay, there's a very, very interesting question here from Ikwan. And he says that what are the configurations at state level as compared to national level for your elections in terms of the parties? Are they pretty much the same? As in, adakah like ada parti yang lain yang boleh ada kesempatan to take a seat here and there at the state level, but tapi at federal level there's no way lah.
Sorry, this is very important question. If my memory serves me right, our last state election in 2021, GPS government only have 38% of the total popular votes.
Okay.
And they at that point of time they have 76 state seats. Because of the current PDP absorbed into GPS, then they have 80 out of 82.
Yeah.
With 38% of the popular votes, they command super majority. They have everyone under their care.
Wow.
So but PBB, which is the backbone, the party,
main
that-
party.
Pusaka. Yeah, Pusaka Bhumiputra, yes.
So they themselves already won 40 out of 76.
Yep.
They can by theory.
They don't need the others.
Yeah, themselves, yeah.
and so on.
Well, I think the big difference between Sabah and Sarawak is such that if you count from the independence or formation of Malaysia until now, I think most of the time Sarawak is under one party rule.
Yep.
Namely, the opposition party did not have a realistic chance of forming the next government. For Sabah, it's slightly more mixed, I would say, for about, let's say, 2/3 of that time period, the opposition party in Sabah, they had a realistic chance toppling the state government and forming the next state government. And that had happened numerous times before, right? The most, the last two elections they did had, for example, Warisan toppling BN, and then Hajiji and so on toppling Warisan.
Yeah.
Right? So that could. But Sarawak, I think in the 1970s, they still had a shot at that. 1987, the Mingkot incident, that was their last chance. After that, it's pretty much one party rule.
I think Sarawak, now GPS, used to be BN Sarawak, is the only coalition that rule Sarawak. We never change of government. Sarawak never experienced change of government. We are the only state or region till today.
Yep.
We never change.
I didn't know that. Did you know that?
It doesn't surprise. I think I knew that, but just didn't consciously think about it. Yeah.
I love seeing never change. or Johor or that.
Johor changed. Arguably 2018 changed. Yeah.
Yeah. Is that also the case for Sabah then? Like Sabah has
Sabah voted more.
We voted in PBS. Well, PBS later joined BN. That's another.
yeah. That's why.
Yeah, in Sabah.
That's why macam tak fair.
Confusing,
And then, of course, Warisan.
Yeah.
And, Hajiji's party technically also never joined BN.
Yeah. Yeah. And then people go independent and then join one side and join the other side. Oh, sorry. Based on this, the news that, BN and PH are going to campaign together in the Sabah state election.
Well, that's very interesting because PH and
This is being rejected, right? By
GRS will campaign together.
Yeah.
And then PH and BN will also campaign together. But BN and GRS are mortal enemies of one another.
So how is PH doing this? How is PH doing this then?
It's like you having two girlfriends or two boyfriends.
And not just that, the two girlfriends and two boyfriends hate each other.
Of course,
My girlfriends are hating each other.
you, Mark.
So wait, so how does that work?
That's very interesting statement.
Okay, you put that out.
It's very confusing for voters. And you may see some constituencies having more than, one candidates from the side who are supposed to be friends, for example.
You think there's opportunities there for independents or for smaller parties based on
Always in Sabah, in every state election, at least one, sometimes two or three independent candidates, because they're actually supported by one of the parties
And
who are supposed to come out but did not get a chance to come out. Yeah.
Right.
endorsed by some
Endorsed, yeah.
And do you think this is healthy for Sabah's democracy?
Well, why not? I mean, it's better than some other states, which is essentially one party state, right?
Yeah.
I guess Isan, so contohnya bila you cakap, PH tengah berpakat dengan BN, tengah berpakat dengan the other side, are there, and this will be cynical, maybe you will say there's no difference, but are there any ideological differences between both sides?
Not really. I think the distinguishing factor is not so much ideology than personality.
Okay.
Because every major political figure, he or she would like to have their own party, right?
Yep.
Because if you're a party president, and let's say you win 2 seats, and the ruling coalition would need these 2 seats from you.
Yep.
Therefore, you can bargain and say, hey, I want to be deputy chief minister, right?
Yep.
Right. That's the frustrating that goes on now. Jeff, this one's definitely for you. So someone's asking about whether or not there's any historical data about people from Semenanjung going back to vote during the state elections for both Sabah and Sarawak. But you focus on this data, right?
Not really on data, but we do not have an official number.
Yeah.
We do not have official number, but unofficial number, Sabah and Sarawak in total, I think we have about 50,000 to 70,000 bracket voters or diaspora staying in out of Sabah and Sarawak.
Semenanjung, yeah.
Semenanjung and Singapore, of course.
Then you just look at the flight tickets.
Yeah. Typically, in elections where there's a realistic chance that the opposition may win, there are a lot of these, shall we say, expatriate voters who go back to.
But based on that, the people in Sabah will go back, but people in Sarawak wouldn't.
Why not?
It's the same. Because one,
less chance of winning, I guess.
Our just like our last PRN and PRU, we do coordinate a lot of postal vote.
Okay.
So we help to collect back.
Yeah.
Of course, with our partners here in Semenanjung, because some other out of Malaysia punya ballot paper.
Yeah.
So we bring back, we bring it to Kuching, and then we disseminate to different bahagian.
Yep.
Of course, one of Rose punya advocacy is to advocate for absentee voting. We need to say we either absentee voting or postal votes. We need to say we want Sarawakian who resides in tak kira lah Penang ka, Johor ka, untuk for them to vote as a postal voter either before the election day or the day itself, and the result it just counted as normal lah, because Rose we also involve a lot of training on the day itself, like Pacha training, postal votes observers and stuff. So we try to to advocate this to our minister, state minister, so that they can use their kingmaker status to push the SPR to change this.
Yep. Okay, we've answered most of this already. Oh, okay. There's one question here from Charlie Sharizan. Why are independent candidates more common? I assume that's in East Malaysia in general. Is that true? I know it's true in Sabah. What about in Sarawak?
Well, again, usually they are not truly independent. They are sponsored. Well, we use a more neutral term, by some of the existing parties. The political dynamic is sometimes very interesting. Let's say you and I are both in the same, even ruling coalition, right?
Yeah.
But we are two different component parties, right? Of course, I would like to have my party winning more seats than yours, right? So, in a particular seat, then I will, as you say, sponsor somebody or feel an independent, such that the independent might not even win, but he or she would detract from your vote, such that the other side win. I would rather the other side.
But why?
Well, because the other side would, because if you win, then you have more seats, right? Because I'm assured already of winning this whole election.
So for instance, meaning like, let's say there's a liberal option and a conservative option, and you want the liberal one to have less votes, you would field an independent candidate that's seen as a liberal to reduce off that guy's.
I think there's so much ideological differences.
I'm overthinking it. Sorry. Yeah.
No, it's
okay.
more,
So it's because you already we've already won it. I don't need you to be more powerful than you already are. Is it that kind of instinct?
it's even more complicated like that. Because even though I am now a component party of, let's say, Coalition A, right?
Okay.
There's a slight chance after election my coalition may not win, right? I may switch to the other side. And the other side be very thankful of me helping them with their seats, right? For example.
Okay.
Now, this is between component parties. Within party, it's also like that. I belong to faction A, you belong to faction B. I cannot let you win because this is a, let's say this is
I see.
this is a Bhumi-dominated party, but there's Chinese decorations. But only one Chinese can be minister. Why should I let you win? I must make sure you lose, then I win. Of course,
That's how complicated.
this is politics.
This is so bleak, bro.
Does this happen in Sarawak as well?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so
More or less,
skip it up.
more or less.
Just to kind of like transplant that example, would it be like, let's say for the state, for the seat of Damansara, and then usually DAP runs for the seat, tapi tiba-tiba PKR is chosen for the seat.
Yeah.
So the DAP guys go, aku tak nak kau menang. So they'll support independent to run against the PKR person, even though technically they're all on the same team. Okay, that's what's happening.
Yeah. Something like that. Or even if they're DAP candidate, but let's say there's
Yes.
he doesn't want that guy to win.
Okay, help me understand, because again, from an outsider's perspective, all this seems very busuk hati.
It's not busuk hati, it's just political reality. I want to be chief minister. Why should you be chief minister? I'm as handsome as you. Why should I not be chief minister? If not chief minister, deputy chief minister, I also sapu.
You think that way because you are not politician.
Yeah.
Okay.
Criteria.
Okay, faham.
Yeah.
Okay. So, the question comes from Suri of the Buri. Is Geoffrey Kittingan more katak than Larry Sung? I have to say, okay, so I run my MP, and we track MPs and how often they change parties, right? East Malaysian people change parties.
Statistically speaking, Geoffrey switched parties more than many other politicians.
Larry Sung also quite a number.
Yeah.
But some of these parties are also like change name or then change alliance, then slightly change name.
No, it's him changing. Yeah.
Why is this so such a huge problem, especially in
I guess, do people even see it as a problem?
Also, yes, that's a very interesting
because
question.
again, as I said, personality matters. That's why you support Geoffrey, you support Bong, you support Shafi Abdal, you support Musa Aman, and so on. It's not so much you support his party. The party, it's the political vehicle, the convenient vehicle of choice at the moment.
Okay.
But when that vehicle is no longer convenient, then you switch vehicle. Sometimes you switch cars.
Then that seems like one big difference between here and there.
I was just going to say, yes.
Yeah.
So in West Malaysia, we think party along party lines tremendously. Yeah.
Do you not agree that might be a big difference between Semenanjung and East Malaysia?
Well, in the urban areas of Sabah and Sarawak, I think we also vote along party lines. Yeah.
Okay.
In the rural areas,
Personality matters. Okay.
because he is like your tribal leader.
Yeah.
You see, sometimes it's very interesting. You see, let's say that particular constituency, you would think tribe A is the majority, but there's this guy who is from tribe B, but because he's so popular, he gives out money and so on. Therefore, he becomes also very popular like that.
I can quote an example in Sarawak. We have Saratok, Parliament Saratok. Currently YB Tato Ali Biju. He used to be PKR and he won the seat under PKR. And then after that, he joined Persatu and he won under Persatu. So it's the character, not the party.
Okay.
And is it because in Sabah and Sarawak, it's a little bit more distributed, it's a little bit less urban. So I remember once I actually went on a campaign trip with Barubian just out of curiosity, right? And the mentality,
curiosity.
yeah, really. And the mentality is totally different. Like my eyes were opened to the sense where, these people have never been to KL. They've never been to even the capital of KK or Kuching or whatever. They have no sense of a government or a country.
Yes.
To me, it's more like, okay, he builds a road, he builds a school, I'll vote for him. right? Is that a fair assumption?
Yes, and Barubian is now in which party? I also don't know.
I cannot keep track.
Beautifully.
PBB.
Oh, is it PDP now?
Oh,
No, PDP.
Oh, PDP. Oh,
Party Democratic is the under our
under
thing.
yeah.
right. And do you guys think that this is like a good thing, or it's a bad thing, or it's just a thing?
it's just a thing. Well, on the one hand, it's good to see such a diversity of personalities and parties and so on, right? After all, well, that's supposed to be the essence of democracy, right?
Yep.
You have a plethora of people and parties running and so on. But on the other hand, I think a proper democracy would also require the politicians to be, really advocating for the benefits of the people
Yeah.
and so on. But sometimes you see a lot of these politicians, they first of all benefit their own pockets, and then whatever they could not stuff into their pockets, then they go
Whenever left over lah.
distribute to the common folk. So it also cannot say they don't distribute. It's just whatever it's sort of tidak muat lah, then you go and distribute. Just like before the show just now, I have this bulging wallet, right? I ask you to put it aside, otherwise.
Okay. No, very interesting. Okay, so
Yeah.
you're a Sabahan, you're a Sarawakian, right? On the count of 3, you guys say which one is more corrupt, Sabah or Sarawak?
Okay.
Okay. What? Right now. Okay, yeah. Right now. 1, 2, 3.
Sabah.
Sarawak.
I think now Sabah is more corrupt, lah.
Because
Why? This is
because I grew up at a time when people say some people in Sarawak are the richest in the world.
no. That's why I asked him now or all this while. Okay.
Also, you're saying that Sarawak is improving. Is that your argument? Sorry, is that your argument?
The scale is different. I think Sarawak's scale is very big. Sabah, it's different people. They all grab a bit and then so on.
So it's smaller scale lah.
More level up. lah.
More like Sarawak is very concentrated. Yeah.
So Sabah,
So that's why you're saying Sabah
We
is
are
worse because
skirting the elephant in the room, right? Even though the elephant technically is not physically in this world anymore. Yeah.
Do you know Sarawak? We have our annual budget, state budget, is double than Sabah. We have about 15 billion, nearly to 15 billion budget. Sabah have about 7 point something. Selangor so developed, we only have 5 point something billion.
what would be enough then? Yeah.
So Sarawak is future rich, but whether Sarawakian felt the same
Yeah.
is another everybody knows lah.
Yeah. Is there right on the dot actually? This is reaching asked how many ringgit and sack of rice to buy one phone. Okay, wait. Let me try and phrase this a little bit better, lah. Okay. Do you guys think that it is easier to buy votes in East Malaysia than it is in West Malaysia?
It would appear so. But of course, it depends. In West Malaysia, sometimes you don't even need money to you don't even need to buy votes. You can influence people's the way of thinking, mindset and so on.
But that's what elections are supposed to be, right? I mean, in a way.
Well, in some states, you really don't know where they want to bring Malaysia towards.
right, yeah. That's why I was asking about ideology. Are there markers or any instances where
yes,
that's
they are making inroads into, I don't know about Sarawak, but certainly Sabah. That kind of very, shall we say, determined ideology. They are making their ways into Sabah, such that nowadays sometimes you don't shake hands. You want to shake hands with people. People don't want to shake your hands. It's
because they're ideologically different from you.
Ideology is
Not due to COVID lah.
no.
But we also got that sense. I mean, when we did workshops in Sabah and in Sarawak, I felt that Sarawakian, even the NGOs, they were quite harmonic, or they all seem to get along quite well. Whereas in Sabah, it's fiery, man. Like everyone's arguing and like very passionate, very I don't know. Is that a fair assumption?
We celebrate differences of opinion.
Okay.
But then again, go to this comment. Actually, Sarawak, I think due to we have about 50% who are staying in rural area. Almost 50, it's quite balanced. 50% in town, in urban, 50% in rural. Rural people mostly they do not have fixed income. They don't have monthly salary. So if they don't work for one day, they might not have income for that day.
Sabah,
Okay.
Sabah it's a bit different. Sabah is the only state in Malaysia which was never infested with communism. Even Sarawak at one point had communists and so on, but never Sabah. The people of Sabah, I think even those who are not very well-to-do, they do not quite feel that they are not well-to-do. Part of the reason is
How interesting.
because there's influx of people into Sabah, right? From southern Philippines and other parts of the Nusantara. And that provided a source of, shall we say, very cheap labor. And therefore, even in quite remote places, right? If you have a few acres of land, you can survive quite okay. Comfortably.
Yeah.
Do you think it's also a fact like where contohnya you have migrants from Philippines coming over and then they have that point of comparison being like, we're doing slightly better than these guys coming from somewhere else?
It could well be. It could well be. Those who are, from what I saw, those who are living in abject poverty are really these migrants from southern Philippines and so on. Yeah.
So you feel that people in Sabah, even though they might not be of the same income, they don't feel it as much.
Yeah, this was told to me by none other than now Tan Sri Pairing Kitingan, who was at that time Minister of Rural Development. He thought that's a big problem because when you wanted to help these rural folks develop, they don't feel like
they need help.
That kind of help.
How interesting.
And do you feel the same thing in Sarawak as well?
Yeah.
Or is this like mind-blowing to you?
Yeah.
You look like you're mind-blown.
Yeah, I'm totally blown now.
Because even in the most remote corners of Sabah, you have all these people from not only southern Philippines, from the Timor Islands, from West Timor, not East Timor, from West Timor, and the Celebes and so on. They are working very happily there. If I had a few acres of land, I sort of rent it to them, and then they will plant veggies and so on, and they repay me with some of their harvest and so on. Quite comfortable my life.
By rental.
Okay, wow. That's pretty eye-opening.
Yeah, it is. Okay, we do need to move on to another topic. This one's quite interesting. This one came in from Sauce Chili from Muhammad Budin. And basically he said Sabah jadi Sabah, Sarawak, Sabah jaga Sabah, Sarawak jaga Sarawak. But he said that basically everyone is coming and taking all your oil and resources and everything. And then basically you guys are just, opening your doors to them.
This is classic case of resource curse. I mean, even if the Malayans are not grabbing those resources,
someone else will.
Yeah, the local elites would also grab. You look at the recent, scandals about some audio clips and video clips and so on.
Which one is this?
Sabah.
This is Sabah, about mineral rights and so on.
Right. Yeah.
Who are the main actors in those video clips? They are all Sabahan. Granted, this gentleman who did the recording, I think it's from either Sarawak or Malaya, but all the main actors are from Sabah and Sarawak. So what do you think? I mean, it's not as if magically all these wonderful resources are going to fall from skies and all of us will become as rich as Dubai and so on.
Tapi untuk sekarang, like, there's also like the China influence and the American influence. How's that playing into all the dynamics of?
Well, not that pronounced in Sabah yet. But I mean, of course, in the Malaysian sense, of course, this U.S.-China confrontation it's on the one hand benefiting us a little bit.
How?
Well, because there are factories moving away from China in order not to be labeled.
But not in Sabah, right?
Right.
I mean,
There are some factories relocating to Sabah.
right.
But Sabah traditionally industrial development is not has not been has not been booming. So it's a bit moving there.
Jeff, anything to add to that?
No, I just feel that of late, maybe a past decade, this personal observation, Sarawakian rule, the sentiment of regionalists is growing.
Okay.
We used to be able to embrace so many things, but then again now, everything very very Sarawakian. If they can't argue with facts, they will argue like, are you Sarawakian or not? Why you are not fighting for Sarawak? This kind of narrative lah. Luckily, I have I have my K in my IC. If not, I will sure be banned from Sarawak.
Is it the same in Sabah where that narrative? I mean, the whole again, this is feeling, but I guess in a more realistic sense, Sabah jaga Sabah, like we have to fight for ourselves. West Malaysians will never love us, that kind of thing.
I think there are some. Okay, there are some local Sabah parties who have not been doing very well electorally. So some of their leaders or the youth leaders and so on, they would try to advocate some sentiments.
Right.
It remains to be seen to what extent that actually would.
So the parties that are championing Sabah for Sabah and Sarawak for Sarawak do better or they do worse?
Very badly, except for Warisan.
Warisan, yeah. How did Warisan break that mold?
Well, because I think mainly because Shafi, just like the late Adun Saturn in Sarawak, somehow I think both of them unexpectedly, right? Just before they became leaders of their parties, they were considered sort of minor figures, sort of marginalized.
Just suddenly from nowhere.
Suddenly from nowhere they came in, and the way they speak and so on really touch people.
I'm curious, is there any East Malaysian solidarity between Sabah and Sarawak?
Interesting question.
Not really.
Okay. Okay, so we need to make sure they must stay apart.
Yeah.
That's how we keep them in. Yeah.
The colonized sentiments.
Zon, not really. I don't know whether you guys want to comment on this. Leong Sifun, when East Malaysia will be infiltrated by extremists and racist politicians? Guys, if you guys are commenting, just add a question mark at the end so we know whether it's a question.
Okay, but then I guess this does
that's what I also don't know.
Does touch a particular topic. There seems to be a perception that East Malaysia tends to be freer
from racism,
sort of the racial, religious, ethnocentric like kind of sentiments that dominate West Malaysia.
To a large extent. Yeah. But sometimes, even if you go to the more rural areas in Malaya, people actually live quite harmoniously together. I've been even to Kelantan. Go to the villages. They're very happy.
Yeah. I think it gets played up a lot in media, especially in urban areas. Yeah. Urban areas are the most racist. Don't you think?
I'm trying to keep Sabah Sarawak apart, so betul lah.
Okay, so the next question is something that a lot of people actually ask about as well, which is why have to be out of sync on your elections, and how does that play into why are the state elections always out of sync with the rest of Malaysia? I mean, I kind of know the reasons, historical, right? But how does that play into the dynamics of how Sabah and Sarawak?
Yeah, versus if everyone got the same holiday.
It's like a sneak preview, kan? Like,
it's not only us anymore. It's
Malacca now.
Malacca and
Johor,
yeah, they're also out of sync. Yeah. So I think it's not by design. It used to be, at least for Sabah, it's same time as the federal election, right? For state election. Then somebody went
only
in
2020, right?
Something like that. Somebody did a coup. Then because of a coup, therefore you need to call for early election. Then it sort of propagates.
Yep.
By Sarawak, there's our local
pride, or is it pride? Like, we want to be different.
No, it's I think we have different state and federal after 1987.
Yeah.
And after the Ming Court, then after that, there's always this narrative by the local. State election, we vote for local Sarawak-based party. Federal, we vote for opposition. That's why if you look at 2021, DAP as a opposition lose badly. They left with only 2 out of so many.
Yep.
But a year after, during the federal election,
Yeah.
they won 6-7 plus PKR, 1 seat from Imiri. They suddenly have so many. So 31 parliament, GPS only got 23. So the remaining 8 goes to opposition. So this the narrative that the local Sarawakian are still some generation are still believing that
As in, benda tu is a conscious decision ke? It's just like, don't subconscious.
unconscious.
But this is your perception lah.
This is what when we go to the ground,
Yeah.
how they say, oh, federal kita kena sokong
Opposition,
Makan.
yeah.
So then that will
So interesting.
bring to next PRU, which is very interesting.
I don't understand that.
No, kerana you don't want the opposition to own the state, but you want the opposition to challenge the status quo in
federal.
Okay.
Sometimes it's you see, let's take the case of Warisan.
Yeah.
Warisan is of course a homegrown Sabah party, but it has never actually the sort of focus on championing Sabah rights and so on. And yet it won the election before, the state election before. So what I'm trying to say is, number one, personality does matter. Number two, if your opponent is perceived to be extremely corrupt and so on, that also matters. Number three, you need to have, some proper policy also. If I win, I'm going to make sure the roads are, well paved, the water is running, the electricity is there and so on. Yeah. So a combination of all this, plus you sprinkle a little bit of Sabah for Sabahan, Sarawak for Sarawakian.
like
That, yeah.
seasoning lah,
Yeah,
some MSG on top.
But if you focus on that, then you have a lot, at least in Sabah, a lot of these homegrown small parties, almost never won a seat. They were at the forefront of championing all this Sabah for Sabah thing. Yeah.
Okay, so the other thing about the elections being out of sync is that it gives us a preview of how these parties are going to behave in the next election.
Well, as he said, in the Sarawak case, it's not quite like that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. State election, local parties. Federal election, federal
And
parties.
same in Sabah as well.
Not really. Sabah is really a mixed bag. So,
It's
Sabah very hard to
random number generator.
Sabah, it's like every party, every major party will win a number of seats.
Right.
Sabah is the election night which matters.
Right.
Because, hey, I have 10 seats. How many you have? Huh? Let's say we need 31 seats to form government. Hey, I have 15, you have 10. So chief minister must be me, lor. Even if the two of us combine, I still need 6 seats. Hey, 6 seats. Then you say, I want to be deputy minister.
Oh, but you only got 4, he got 5. I go with him, then that kind of thing.
You go whoever have 6.
So it matters, election night.
So it's always like at the end of election night, then there's 12 hours. Do they meet at a restaurant or something? Or like what happens?
I don't know. Maybe at the residence of one of the major party chiefs.
Okay.
And the negotiation starts.
Yeah.
How does that feel though? Like it feels.
I don't know because I never be a politician.
You go into it's exciting. You go into an election not knowing who is going to be the next chief minister. But that's the essence of democracy, isn't it?
Also good in a way, I guess, right?
Yeah.
Like it keeps people on edge.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then now with PH and BN contesting for some seats over there, then how is that gonna?
PH, BN, 1 Pakatan. PH and GIS, 1 Pakatan. GIS and BN are not friends. So I also don't know. And then
So we'll just have to wait to see how that plays out. Okay.
Warisan also there. And not to forget Muhyiddin very angry also there.
Sarawak also had this party called PBK. They also Pengalang.
That one decorative lah.
Okay, we're running out of time now. We're just going to go through these last few. Oh no, actually that was the last question already. Yeah.
Beast.
Perfect. So perfect. So it's anything else you want to ask before we wrap it up?
I guess,
or-
yeah. So if you had to predict how the next 1 year of elections will go, because assuming Sarawak elections will happen in the next
So Sarawak
Sarawak is next year.
only due in 2027
7.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So
because our election is end of 2021.
if you had to make an educated guess on how the next 1 to 2 years until both your state elections are over, how do you think things are looking at the
Let's
moment?
go for Sabah first because Sabah is
Will Sabah be a bellwether for Sarawak?
Not really. Sarawak, I think, is a foregone conclusion. The ruling coalition would continue. In Sabah, it's up for grabs. So let's see how it plays out.
But I mean, like, for East Malaysians, seeing as how you guys do reject a lot of the extremism and racism, PN doesn't really have a leg to stand on, right? Do they?
Well, they won quite a number of seats in the last state election.
How did they do that?
For example, because they are the ruling party.
Right.
in-
Purely by just being the ruling party,
Yeah.
right?
So it will be interesting. Yeah, okay, that will be a so-called bellwether.
Yeah.
That as a non-ruling party going into an East Malaysian state, how would PN fare? I think that it's
Oh, interesting.
if they do, I wouldn't say well, but if they even just win a few seats,
Mm.
oh, that's quite significant, isn't it?
How many seats do you think would be like an indication that they did okay?
I don't know, even 2-3 seats. Yeah.
Wow. So
Yeah, because
bar
you're
is pretty low for them.
Yeah, the opposition party going into a state which you are not quite familiar with.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's quite something. Yeah.
okay.
So basically, you're saying that if they win 2 or 3 seats, then things are looking better for them for the next election.
I would say, yeah. Then there's a momentum, right?
Yep,
Even
yep,
Sabah
yep,
can win.
yep. Everyone, keep your eyes on Sabah for Malaysia Day. Things are going to be very, very exciting. Very soon.
Whenever it happens.
Yeah.
but I suddenly remember there's a call. Can I just say,
Closing statement. Yes.
still go back to the delineation thingy?
Yep.
Because now after SPR, SPR have about 30. SPR is going to permit the recommendation. So if there's any fellow Sarawakian or your friends are from Sarawak, please ask them to sign up as an objector because electoral objectors, if you can go to Rose website or Rose social media, we already published the link so that you can sign up as objector. If you think that your area was affected and you want to object to SPR drawing, you can do so.
And the link will be right.
Oh, that's very
Here.
interesting. I did not even know that you can actually object to SPR's drawing.
Yes.
Well, then how? They will reconsider?
So it basically in brief, because it's my closing thing, we need to gather a group of 100 people so that for that particular area,
For every seat.
or every kawasan,
Okay.
for every kawasan,
The new Kawasan or the old Kawasan?
the new
Because-
kawasan,
okay.
the new drawing, the new
Okay.
area.
Okay.
So if you are affected, so you can sign up as an objector.
Bantah.
So we were of course there's forms for you to fill up and everything, and we will submit it as one of the objectors, and you have a chance to elaborate. Out of 100, a group of 100, only 3 people can go in and object.
Correct.
So we will have the link. We will share you the link. Then you can help us to push up that
Amazing. Yep.
thing.
The current SPR chairman is associate professor, what's his name? Amil Sharom, yeah.
Azmi Sharon?
Asmi Sharom, yeah.
Oh, is that special?
Yeah. Well, who was also
yeah,
human rights
yeah.
advocate and so
Yeah.
let us hope that you have the wisdom to make all this adequate as well as
The current
fair.
the current
Yeah.
7 commissioner, 3 of them, at least 3 are of the human rights side.
Have a human
So we
rights,
hope
okay.
that they will be able to produce
something fair.
something fair for the rakyat lah.
Hashtag pressure, no pressure. Thank you very much for joining us, guys. Yeah. Isan, Geoffrey, thank you for flying down, yeah, just for
Thank you for
this
having us.
podcast. Yeah. Iqbal, you want to close up today? Or?
Yep. And if you enjoyed this conversation, you can leave your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, follow us on Chili Sauce for more current issues. Tambah pedas.
Bye. See ya.